Hello.
Hey, you're outside today.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
beautiful here.
Awesome.
Looks good.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good yourself?
Good, good, not bad.
Awesome.
I'm gonna make you all close. There. Look like we're all in the dark colors today.
Oh yeah.
Must be fall.
Yes.
It's one of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our colors.
Yes. That is so funny. Like we were all reading each other's minds. Let's see what Veronica sounds like.
Eric, you're probably like me. You wear dark colors all the time though, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm actually like a bright color kind of person. Very vibrant, reds, blues.
Yeah.
It depends for me. I think because I've been freelance, like you tend to have to wear a lot more dark colors, especially covering events and stuff. So then it just kind of just blends into my everyday.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. How are you all doing today?
Fine. I'm moving houses, so I had so many house viewings today. I'm so tired. Yeah.
Are you getting close to finding one you actually want to move into?
I'm not so sure. That's why I'm not feeling too great about this because I'm just not finding the one.
Mm.
But I'm not too picky either, so it's just yeah.
Over here, there's like, I don't know about where you all are, but there's been a lot more, a larger influx of properties coming on the market now, and a lot of them are decreasing pricing as well. So, are you finding the same thing in London?
Yeah, there are a lot of, so like the prices have reduced a lot because I actually don't know why. Like, are people moving out of London? Are they moving to the outskirts or what? But then the prices are falling, so people would rather move back into London. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. But we're just going to move to another location. So we're trying to move to London Bridge. So like right there. So I guess
Downtown,
that's
yeah.
why, like, you just won't find huge apartments.
Yeah. And of course, in that area has a lot more competition of people who are trying to move in the area as well. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see where Veronica is. We can go with the overview. I know today was an additional day. So if you want to kind of talk through what we're going to be focusing on, then I'll ping.
Today?
Yeah, and I'll ping Veronica.
Yeah, so I have 3 things on the agenda for today. So basically the first thing is finishing the journey map, because I know yesterday Veronica spoke about, oh, she's here.
See, she's wearing black or dark colors. Why she comes with red?
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. How's it going?
Good. We're all like lamenting on the fact that we're all wearing black or dark colors.
Oh my God, I know. I'm like pretty much I mean, my shirt does have some, but I got black pants on and black shoes. So
That's funny.
that is funny. We were all in well, creatives like to wear black. So
Looks like you're in the office.
I am in the office. I haven't been here in like 2 months. Oh, it feels
Wow.
good to be back. I know. I just had so much, like I was moving, we were busy. So I finally, had a chance to come in.
This is the very first day of your return?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Pretty good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I share something cool with you guys?
Yes.
Okay. So I just got an email. Oh, can you give me screen share?
Okay.
I just got an email from one of our innovators, Tambra. And I want to show you about this event that she's participating in. Okay, hang on. Actually, let me just do that. Wow. Do that. Okay, can you see this image? Or no?
No.
It's
Okay.
great.
Let me do a new share. Okay. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is there's a virtual conference called the Black Policy Lab, and Tambra is going to speak on a food is justice panel. This is happening over the course of the next 4 days. This is the agenda for one of the days tomorrow. So she's right here. And yeah, this is the panel that they've assembled.
Cool.
Yeah, so I
That's
just thought
awesome.
that, yeah, I know. It's so exciting to see all their work come to life. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's
As a way,
really nice.
yeah, it's a great way to like kind of kick off, like making real what you guys are working on.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. That's great. And tell her
Yeah.
congratulations for us.
I will let her know. Yeah. Also, I wanted to just apologize because yesterday I was like very militant about doing the missing, not missing exercise. And I feel like part of why I didn't understand why you guys wanted to do it is because we hadn't gone over it. And so at the end of the call, when I saw it, I was like, okay, now I get why you guys were wanting to do it with the journey map. So anyway, I just feel like I didn't have all the information. That's why I was like, it's going to be so much more work. Why? I don't understand. So anyway, I just want to let you know, I understand now. And I think the work that you guys had done before is just another interesting lens, to look at what's missing and what's there. So
Cool.
Cool.
I think that can probably help to shape the conversation for the agenda that Samia has.
Yeah,
wanna-
so I have basically 3 things planned for today. So the first thing is to finish off the tools. So finishing off the journey map, seeing if we want to incorporate, so since Veronica now, see if we want to incorporate the what's missing, what's not. So the mind map information into the journey map as well. Or we can, like, I pretty much got convinced about keeping it separate. So now, like, I don't know what side I'm on. But we can have a conversation about that. The other thing that's on my agenda is looking at the outline for the storybook and just understanding what information we can pull for that specific like section of the storybook, because we have a lot of information. It's all scattered, and I think we need to do this together to understand what goes where. And the last thing I have is basically I've put together like some information for the executive summary. So setting the scene and the research methodology. So it would be nice to just get your first thoughts about that. So
yeah, and I think also for the journey map, because some of the areas are empty, we might want to look at condensing some of the boxes
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds
Okay,
like a plan.
so I'm going to share the Miro board of yesterday again on the chat. So yes, so you can all head there. I just rearranged some stuff.
It's funny though, Samya, like when someone convinces you to do something, like when you have a way and then you see something else and you're like, oh, I kind of like that better.
Yeah.
And then, because I feel the same way where I'm like, oh, I kind of like, I don't know. So
I mean, there's no right or wrong, right? It's just
no,
what
yeah.
we feel. Yeah. So you can tell us, maybe you can start with telling us why you think, incorporating it together is a good idea.
Oh, well, I think it depends on how, well, I don't know. Oops, let me go down. Well, I don't know if so I think the way that we have it broken up, so we have before, during, and after.
Mm-hmm. So I can tell you why I thought it would be nice. Just because I feel there might be a lot of repetitions, because these are the key insights and they will also be a huge part of the journey map. So if we find like, additional coaching or things like that to be something that's missing, we might find it on the journey map as a pain point as well. I guess it can work either way. So if we have all of this information that, this is what's working and this is what's not working, we can find a way to incorporate it into the journey map, just so we can have like one visualization with like all of the information. And then when we go deep into it, you can like, go deep into like each of this section. So before the program, during and after. But on the other hand, if you have like, this map, this sort of map of what's there and what's not, and I can just see it to be visualized in a really nice way, for each of these things. And I guess it's just really clear. It's just really clear when you see it in this way. So you have like, the program, the knowledge that an innovator should get from the Word Infinity program, and then this is what's there and this is what's missing. It's just really clear. Whereas in the journey map, you might have to dig a little bit. You might have to find where this information is placed or where it's hidden. So these are sort of my pros and cons of both of them. I think it's a question of like easy to understand, easy to flow with the narrative.
I do have one thing to piggyback off of what you said, Samya. What I think could potentially happen is that we could, if we can figure out a way for the content to align to the journey map, when we do the overview of the tool as part of the intro to data analysis, when we drill down on each of the phases, so before, during, after, we can then use like the mind map to highlight, in the before, these are the things that they have, these are the things that they don't have, and this is what is missing. So you essentially have these mind maps, but they become like a tool for, breaking out that information from the journey map, and it becomes more of a visual tool in the design and the layout of the data in the sections. But it's like basically being pulled out of the journey map, and you're able to kind of put emphasis and focus on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, so I think like, I definitely think, I feel good about my intuition around keeping it separate. I think when I look at the two versions of it, they tell a different story. So like the mind map that was created by Eric and Mathieu is what's there and missing throughout the journey, because they're before, during, and after. And then the one that we created yesterday is just more overall and focuses on the resource, right? So like the black thing, like having guidance, the community, partnerships, funding, or knowledge, that's like the thing, the broad category of the thing that they acquire. So I think it's just a different emphasis. And so for me, it's more about what kind of emphasis do we want to have? Do we want to have a journeyed emphasis? And that's like the one that's on the bottom. And there may be some things that we identified in the one above it that are missed, you know, that could be added to that. Or do we want to have, instead of the emphasis on the journey, do we want to have the emphasis on the resource? And I think where I was coming with the resource thing was around this acknowledgement that it's by design. Like everything that we do in our society is by design, whether it's how the program is designed or isn't designed, whether it's how communities are designed or isn't designed. So that's the lens that was taking me up to the one with the black squares. So I think it's just about like, where do we want to put emphasis and what is the most meaningful or valuable?
I think Maria's suggestion like combines the two in a really nice way. Like, you know, you have the journey because it's just simpler to follow when things are in a story, things are as a journey, things are, you know, flowing without like being disconnected or being sort of these like big chunks of information. That's what I think. Like journeys are just simpler to flow and to grasp. So if we like position the journey as something, okay, so this is literally what the program is. This is what happens in the program. And then when you go into it, you understand, okay, these are the things that are there and these are the things that are not there. So, you know, as an overview, it's just simple to digest. And then once you go in, you really understand like the gaps and the successes. That's
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It has a nice flow to it. What do you guys think?
I'm in agreement that they should be separated, and I do agree as well that they kind of tell two different stories. So I think they're both useful on their own.
Do you have a preference between the two versions that we have of the?
I'd probably prefer the one we did yesterday, the kind of resource that breaks out what's there and working, what needs improvement, what is missing. I probably prefer that one just because it's clear to me. But that's my thought.
Okay, Eric and Madia, what do you guys think?
I'll let Eric chime in.
I think I do also feel that what we created yesterday to me feels a little clearer. I will also agree about that. Like, not to say that if we want to keep all three, then you know it's fine. I do believe that they all tell a different story, but I feel in terms of like when I'm looking at the information, when I look at what we did yesterday, like to me that like really like pops out. Okay, like this is what's missing. This is what's there. You know, because I feel like when I look at the mind map and like, because like I don't get the before, during, and after from it as strongly as I would with the journey map up here. So for me, I feel like I look at the journey map and then I look at the section in the middle that we did where we just show like that we had the breakout points and then we just show like what's there, what needs improvement. And I think for me, like that helps me understand everything better.
Okay, Madia, what do you think?
So I am so I still have this vision in my head of what I think that I see what it's going to look like. So when I envision the journey map, I envision it plotting or telling the story, as Sonia said, from beginning, during, and after, and then in before in each phase, looking at different variables. So we talked about the customer and all that stuff like that, but then at the same time, looking at that and not let it. The lens is not just on the so the lens, when you start integrating the aspects of the journey map, can show where the innovator is on a journey, and then where the actual program is meeting them or not meeting them in that way, and so or the resources are meeting them or not meeting them in that way, and in that process. And so I think that you can tell a complete story with the journey map, and then I think there's an opportunity to still have, if you organize I think that we can basically organize the information we have yesterday into a before, during, and after. And I think with design, we can emphasize those things in the actual mind map and then layer them on the journey map. But then again, once we drill down into each section and kind of break down the insights from there, we can use the mind map as it appears as a tool to bring more attention to that. So the way that we have it structured after program, looking at guidance, community engagement, partnerships, knowledge, and funding, after the program, and then showing what those things are, and looking at those same 5 things during the program, and then showing what those things are, and then also showing, and I think you can still visualize the red, yellow, and green. So I think that is not much different than what we have now, but I think it just becomes part of a more holistic visual representation that can then be broken down by phases. And I think that it will help fit within the narrative that's already been structured overall with the journey map. So I know it doesn't succinctly answer your question, but I think that the mind map with the before, during, and after, taking the information that we've already organized, structuring it in that way, can then allow us to overlay it in the overall journey map, and at the same time still take it out and let it live on its own as a mind map in each of the sections, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're basically, I think what Sami said is you're basically taking, so that's what we would call like the service blueprint. So it talks about the experience and how the resources support the experience, essentially.
Exactly.
I mean, I was kind of visualizing like, so if we had like a 2-page spread, like we could have something. So if, let's say we were breaking out one part of the journey. So we'd have like bright spots and we might have narrative. Hold on, I'm just sketching something, and then
Oh my God, Eric, your cat.
Oh, where's the
Yeah.
cat? Oh my God!
You have
It
a
was
cat?
blending into your t-shirt.
Yeah. His mom's not home right now, so he's acting all like he needs company.
Oh.
I didn't know you're a cat person, Eric.
Yeah, I inherited him.
Or you can have it.
I'm about to inherit a cat too, so we're gonna have to.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh!
I am not an animal person, but
Well, you'll become one.
I know.
But cats are fairly low maintenance, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking, like, let's say if this is like the part where the journey is and it has like bright spots, and this is for a particular section.
Mhm.
What you could do, you could have some narrative, and part of the narrative could be like what's there and what's missing.
Exactly.
So it doesn't need necessarily, what I get worried about is when the journey map becomes so full.
Okay.
when it becomes so full, the complete journey map is so full and you're overwhelmed by what's there. But I think what we could do is we could still have our standalone mind map, but then we can highlight somewhere within the spread. I don't know where. Don't take this seriously, Mark, because I think you're going to be better at this than I am. But somewhere we could talk about the assets and deficiencies.
Yeah.
And it could be in a list. It could be in a little mind map to say, here are the things that are missing from this phase. I don't know. It could have different representations, and you could still do an overall one that shows everything. So you can kind of see what's missing.
I like that idea.
The thing I like from the mind map that Eric and Marie did is like how the innovators in the middle, and then you have like all these things around it. So I think that aspect, like we can incorporate that into the mind map we did yesterday as well, because those are all like floating chunks, and the thing that binds them is like the innovator and what infinity.
Totally. Yeah. So we can add that to the diagram.
Yeah.
Well, and also like it should be from the perspective of the innovator and what they need ultimately. Like whatever it is that they're saying, what they, you know. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do we start? Where do we go from here then?
That's the question. I think the journey map is not fully complete. Is it, Veronica?
No, I don't think it is. I think
Yeah, we probably got to start there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we just pick up where we left yesterday, what we were working on.
Yeah, I think we can start with that. And then if we find ourselves a little lost, then let's like come back together to see if it makes sense. So right now I feel like, what is the customer feeling or thinking? Like this section is a little, I don't know. I don't know what it's doing there, because some of those feelings are in the pain points or in the bright spots.
Do we even need that section? Is the question.
So we probably don't need that section. Something that's fun in like, you know, these journey maps is how they sometimes map like the emotions. So you also have like it going like positive or negative. So it sort of flows with the journey, and then you can just tell like which parts of the journey are like a high and which parts are a low. So that's just like a visual representation.
Yeah, so maybe instead of actually having words, could we just use like smiley faces and color?
yeah, I think like the whole smile. So I get kind of, Maria, yes. And so, yeah, I think we can say what is good and what is not going well, or where's there like confusion. In general, like when I see I think the smiley face and the frowny face is a very easy way to do it. I think there are also really interesting ways that you can design a journey map. So there was one journey map that I did that was on the hospice experience. So people who were in hospice care, what it was like for them when they first learned they were going into hospice, then as they were preparing, then when they were in hospice, and then like as they were dying, which I know is like a very extreme case, but there are a lot of emotions, because when you go into hospice care, when you first learn about it, right, it's like very frightening. And then when you first go in, you have to adjust. And so there's like turbulence. And so what we actually did, so we had like a straight line journey map, but then within, it was kind of like a thicker bar. Within that, we had different things to show how people were feeling. So if somebody was like on an up, we would do this. If somebody was feeling unstable, it looked like this. If somebody was feeling, if somebody was in like a cycle, there's a point when you go into hospice care when you're just getting routine care. And so you're actually like in a cycle. So we added that as a different, and then we also had bright spots and pain points. But for the hospice care, we didn't call them bright spots and pain point. We called them comfort moments. And that was, we would use like a heart to say a comfort moment. And then we had challenge moments. And then for the challenge moments, we had like a picture of a person like scaling a mountain. And so those are,
Using iconography.
huh?
Using iconography.
Using
to-
iconography as opposed to just very basic smiley frowny face, because I feel like that's what people go to because it's really easy. But I think we have an opportunity to be a little bit more creative in the depiction of how we think about emotion. But I think that for the purposes of the journey, what we might want to do is identify what is the overall, and I think smiley and frowny face, those are very simple emotions, whereas like, you know, feeling like it's a roller coaster or being in a more comfortable rhythm or feeling hopeful, right? Those are more complex emotions. And so what we might want to do is give us latitude to have greater complexity with our emotion. But what we could do is maybe try to sum up the emotion of that phase, whether it's frustrated, hopeful, supported, lost, and that then can help dictate how we visualize that in the journey.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that allows us to be a little more simple with defining that, and it probably won't take as long to create that. Because I know like after the program, like that's where some of the feeling of loss or the lack of support and whatever. So I think if we can summarize that, instead of summarizing it by actual activity in that area and in the box, maybe we just provide kind of that overarching. Yeah, I think that will help simplify that section.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can even, oh man, I can show you. This
And
is,
there are some, while you're doing that, there are some wireframe. If you go into the wireframe library, you go on the left-hand side, there's icons that we could use initially just to kind of put some stuff down there to make it more visual, opposed to words. And then we can circle back if we want to like drop something in those sections.
so this is an example that I was sharing with you guys. This was on hospice care. So we have like a quote that summarizes, right? And then we have, you see how they have different, so here they're turbulent before this is like when curative care is regular health care. So they were not doing very well health-wise. And so you see, these are the comfort moments and the challenges. And then when they enter hospice, there's this uncertainty. Then there's a feeling of overwhelm. Then there's reliability and then dependability. And so this is just, again, there's like so many different ways to do a journey map that can be creative and different and delightful in a surprising way.
I like that.
So. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So should somebody tackle that one, the top
Yeah.
one? Maybe Mark, since you'll be having to come up with what those things look like. You want to like define overarching
Sure.
feelings for each phase?
Sure.
And then, so the stakeholders area, is that where we're going to lay in? I know that was working on that, something similar to that with the second mind map. Are you going to basically take those and then layer those in, or?
So I'm not sure if we want to layer those in.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can just leave that out.
So stakeholders?
So no stakeholders. I'm imagining like, you know, and then the successes and the failures. So this is what I'm imagining in a simplified and easy to digest journey map.
Okay.
So are we saying we're taking out the stakeholders?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay.
But
yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think
okay.
we need that. And then like, I feel like with the applying, we don't we should just condense these.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think we need submitting the application. Like we could just,
Maybe deciding then receive response.
well, we don't have any information on receive response.
Yeah, we don't have information, so it's really, it's not.
It's just like deciding and submitting. So we could just, and then, yeah, this becomes just one. Huh. And then what about onboarding? Yeah, I think that's fine. Learning what. And then listen, imagine, do. I was wondering if those, because we don't have any information on listen, imagine, do.
So those become condensed into one
Yeah.
area, like research, or like what's it called, human-centered design research, and then have the different, you can have it research design.
What if we have like, or maybe that won't be a journey anymore, but what if we have like during the program, so we have the like HCD training, and then we have like guidance, and then we have like we break down the different elements of the program, so it's not really like on a timeline, but it just like tries to capture all of these elements of the program. So you have coaching, you have I don't know, training, you have the some of the things that we identified yesterday in the mind map.
Yeah, we could do it that way. So we could, this one could just become coaching.
Oh, you mean underneath during, break down what they get.
So I'm if I have a pen, okay, maybe I can draw it here. But okay, I'm just going to explain it. So in the during the program section of the journey, we have just like horizontal bars that say like, okay, coaching, HCD training, because they're like across. So it's not one after the other, but
They're
it's
happening
like
in
across
parallel.
Yes, they're happening in parallel. So have like parallel bars that show like these different things. So it's not sequential.
It's more actually cyclical because you learn, you basically learn, apply, coach. It's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's more of a cycle. Like you could have a journey. That looks like this.
I like that.
And then you have learn, apply, receive, guidance. It's like this. And somehow we'd put the words in, right, of what these things are, because they learn public health framing, but then they have a public health coach. They learn human-centered design, but then they have a human-centered design coach.
I like that.
I like that. I'm just wondering how we would be able to like have correlating like pain points and like visually, how would we put that in the journey?
Right. So you could have.
Could we color coordinate the journey? So can the journey map be just like a quick visual, like as what Veronica is showing, and then have kind of like on the example that she also showed where she had the people and she had the list going down, but then maybe have the corresponding sections come down through in connection to color.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. you could do it like if you had, think depends, it's where, so if you had learn, I think that's a visual thing for Mark to figure out. I don't think we have to figure that out because he knows how to blend, use shading to connect concepts and space and lines. So I don't think we have to figure that out necessarily. And he may come, we may say this is conceptually what we want to show, and he's going to come up with a totally different thing that conveys the same thing. So I would say like maybe for us not to get so hung up on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's where Mark's, that's why we have Mark. That's his magic.
In theory, right?
Yeah. I think we would need to figure out so we have like the different elements, right? So we have like, if we look at the actual Moreau, we have the public health problem framing, the racism, the listen, imagine, do, the advisory council, the coaching. Like we just have to figure out how we want those, how do we want to communicate the elements with this cyclical contents?
But I'm wondering, so I think I like that structure for the entire journey map, where before the program, and when you get during the program, it's that cycle, and then after the program, the arrow continues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that approach can be for the entire journey, not just for that one section of the journey, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
So, but I think, so I guess what we're agreeing though, is that instead of doing it, realizing that the things that they're doing are not sequential, but are more like an iterative process that they're going through. So I think that then like for the actual Moreau is like putting, so we'd put listen, imagine, do together. We put the advisory council meetings, then we'd have one for the coaching.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, do we want to lump coaching? I guess we could they lump the coaching together. Like they don't talk about like, so like they don't talk about it in terms of like, they're like, oh, they were all awesome, Steven, and you know, they don't say like the public health coaching was great.
No, they don't.
So, and when you say coaching, you mean like the actual like knowledge they're learning, or like are these more like one-on-one sessions with?
Yeah, this is one-on-one, like the team plus the.
So you also have like some form of like classes or like presentations, or?
Those are these different topics: public health problem framing, racism in medicine and healthcare, learning about how to do the Sibley innovation method.
Yeah. So what would you call those like classes or meetings or like learning? Is that what the learning lab is?
I want to call, that's what I want to end up calling these. That's not what they were called before. They use old school language like curriculum and presentations.
I'm going to call it curriculum.
Advisory.
So under wireframe, I found these little icons. These are the ones that they had in there. Do you want me to populate these with these different icons, or and leave the type, or get rid of the words for that emotion row?
Do you want, are you asking? Oh, you can do whatever you want, I think.
I just wondered if I should get rid of the type that we have in there, if we want to keep that in there.
I think it
Well,
would be nice to have like one word.
I think it would be nice to have one word, but I like the content in there to help us remind us what it's about, because we may go back.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
We may want to go back to why that word was important. So I would say maybe leave it, but at the top, maybe you want to put like one in bold or something.
Yeah.
So Veronica, if you look at the top section with these 4 boxes, like, should we put these?
No, curriculum is too vague. I think it needs to be, curriculum includes everything.
So do you want to keep them separate?
Yeah, like, so with the titles in here, I think are the titles.
Because maybe we can combine like the public health problem framing and the racism in medicine and healthcare.
I would like to do that, but I feel like it's very distinct.
Okay.
So it's,
On the after program section, how are we differentiating the NF program and coaching with informal advisement?
so can you ask that question again?
How are we differentiating between NF program coaching and informal advisement?
Oh, in
Maybe
after the program?
Yeah.
Maybe just with that, why don't end of program coaching? This is business coaching.
Okay.
And then, oh, sorry, no, that's frustrated with lack of continued guidance.
Oh no, that was just to mark the end of the program. So that was like program ends.
Yeah, so maybe we don't need that.
We don't
Oh,
need.
we don't need this here.
Yeah,
So move this over here.
yeah.
Okay.
Eric, I think
Who research this?
those
No, go ahead.
things might go in the narrative.
Wait, I'm sorry.
The things in that, oh, were you trying to move that box?
Yeah, I
That's-
was gonna spread it across the whole section.
I think that's stuff that we can put in the narrative. Like, because it's overall, it's about everything.
Right.
So that might be something that you could even move to the top of the journey map template. Mark, I'm going to help you with your section, okay?
That's fine.
Should we add like ad hoc in front of like endorsement letters and introduction to experts? Because it's not like an innovator would read this and be like, oh, but we didn't get that. So how is this after program?
Or should it be like after program needs or something? Or
Because this is the journey, the actual current journey, right? Which states like, okay, this is what happens.
the endorsement letters probably shouldn't be on there. Because not everybody got that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the what's missing.
Well, everybody gets that if they ask for it. So I think the challenge is you get, well, you have endorsement, but you don't have affiliation.
So wasn't Tambra the one she said that I think she's the one who made mention specifically.
Yeah, she wanted ongoing affiliation because she can't say, oh, I'm doing this program with Sibley anymore.
So, but I still think that endorsement letters should be categorized under a broader group of additional things that they can get. Because to your point, not everybody not everybody may have taken initiative to get an endorsement letter, right? So that's not officially a part of the overall journey. So it should be like additional program support or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of these three are in that category of additional, maybe informal ad hoc support, like introduction to experts, advisement.
So maybe making an overarching category. So it's one category opposed to four. And then we can talk
Yeah.
about those things in there.
I think so too. What did you call it, Marie?
Oh, I said additional informal support.
Okay. ad hoc support.
Hey, Mark, what do you think of calling hearing of the program instead of
Yeah.
having excited? What if we called it curious? Made that feeling curious.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because it's like asking the questions. And maybe applying is feeling hopeful. And then when they get onboarded, that's feeling excited.
Does anybody else need help with a different section? Are we good with bright spots and pain points? I know we're still organizing.
We need some help with the feelings under the during the program. There's
Sure.
a couple ones that are empty.
Is it multiple feelings, or is there could we summarize the feelings into like one overarching feeling?
So I think we're summarizing the feeling per box.
Say it again.
Like,
I didn't get that between chomps.
sorry, I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't be clapping. I'm too comfortable now.
No, I'm dipping
Which I-
off scene trying to eat my watermelon. I get it.
The simply sorry. Like, what am I talking about? So I think we need to have one feeling per box.
Okay.
And so just make it in bold like that. So that's the overarching feeling that they get from that attribute.
But in some cases, like the first one, I feel like it's two emotions. They're kind of upset and frustrated with the current situation, but then they're motivated to take action. And then in the last one, where they're done, and they're optimistic that they're going to get support, but they do at the same time wonder where the funding is going to come from. So it's kind of a dual emotion going on in there, at least at the beginning and the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
which makes sense because there's a lot of unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look for like bright spots for public health problem framing. I'm just trying to find if there's anything that we may have in a different section. I'm also digging back into the cluster and figured that out if we have nothing there.
Okay.
Value.
I feel like we have some things which we have not mentioned in the journey, but which we have in the mind map, like certain pain points. But I guess when we actually come to like, writing the content and combining these two, like
We can elaborate.
you have to refer to both.
Yeah. Eric, do you still need some help on something? I'm done on the section. Oh, I thought it was done. Yeah.
I need help with on a feeling for public health, the public health piece. What was that feeling?
Problem framing.
Like, yeah, did anyone get feedback on the public health aspects? I don't feel like I heard very much, but
I don't remember either.
Who was it? Carlisha? I think Carlisha just talked a lot about the public health and her I think her experience in it, right? I think there was a sense of both from her lens, like pride in the work that she was doing, and just her background. See if I can read through anything else. But aside from her, I don't remember.
Well, could it be like connecting to the broader picture of why? Because I think that's what this does. It's like becomes their why.
Inspiration or inspiring? Because I don't know.
Or like reinforce the why.
Yeah, it reinforces the why.
I think they didn't really specifically speak about public health, but they did speak about how like all of the training and all of the information and knowledge that they were getting was just helping them take their ideas and their businesses to the next level. Like it just gave them a whole picture of everything that's needed for you to bring your idea to fruition.
How do you guys feel about, well, and maybe grounding actually works for the racism in medicine. So for the racism in medicine, I wrote grateful to be acknowledged, but I don't know if maybe this is more grounding because it's like, okay, things are the way they are and I'm not crazy.
See that? Yeah.
You could see grounding there. And then maybe the public health problem framing is, it's like tying it to the bigger picture, both of them.
What
Like,
if both? What I do like I do like understanding the bigger picture. What if that was for both sections there?
okay, we need a word other than understanding. What about illuminating or let me see. Because it has to be a feeling, and understanding isn't a feeling. Revealing. How about revealing? No, that's not really a feeling. I don't know. Is revealing a feeling?
I don't think so.
How do you
Sounds
feel
nice
when
together,
transparent? How do you feel when something is clear?
Relieved, less anxiety. What's the opposite of that? Because you know, when you have clarity, I think there's a sense of peace there, right? Because you know what to expect, or you have, some insight on what to expect.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put grateful to be acknowledged, reassured, comforted, pleased, thankful. That's why I kind of like grounding for that one. Or maybe we could put context. Could the public health one be connected?
connected to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Here.
Maybe the racism in medical care is that, what if the feeling is being at ease with, and I know I'm adding more, but with understanding my history, and I should say our history. What do you think? Is it as ease or I don't know. I still kind of like grounded because it's like, it's a more neutral. What do you like better, Eric? Do you like at ease with understanding our history or grounded by understanding our history?
I like grounded better
Okay.
because I still don't think it necessarily puts you at ease. I think
Right,
it still
that's
makes you find the solution.
right. Okay, so stretched. Oops. Ah. Okay. I'm going to add just like qualifiers for each emotion.
I think that's good. Otherwise, it's pretty vague.
Yeah.
I think there are too many smiley faces in the beginning. I think there was more uncertainty
Oh, I
in the
don't.
beginning. You know, the whole roadmap, not understanding where they fit, what's going to happen, what they need from them. So I think that needs to be reflected somewhere in the, I don't know, applying or onboarding.
I think the emotions come once they're in the program
Yeah, that's the
with
thing.
like the lack of roadmap and things like that. But
I think in the beginning as well, because all the stuff about the roadmap came from all the questions about what did you expect going in, and did it live up to your expectations? Like those were the questions which brought out the whole uncertainty and not knowing what to expect from the program. And I distinctly remember that it was not all like happy.
Yeah, well, and I think that the emotions again are more complex than.
Yeah, they definitely are, but I guess like it should capture the majority, like the strongest emotion.
But we may not depict it with a smiley face, so I don't know how much it matters.
seems like we need a separate section for that in between onboarding and learning labs, workshops, and presentations. We would have a section for, you know, getting expectations or getting information or something like that, because it just goes right into their first day of orientation, right into the program. So that's where that emotion could.
Maybe it's an orientation.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
seems like it would come right after that, because they're still optimistic and excited. It's just their first day.
Mm.
Or should it be like a phase called program start?
Yes, something like that, where that's where they would be getting the roadmap. That's where they would get the, you know, they would learn more about the program arc, and they're not getting that.
So in onboarding, maybe you have like just orientation and then the thing that you guys are speaking about, like the program starts basically. And then like this administrative paperwork, I don't know if
Well, that's
really.
already in there. It's in paperwork. It's right here. It's under orientation. So I think, yeah, administrative paperwork, email correspondence could just go away.
Yeah, I think so too.
Who wrote past negative experiences with other programs under becoming aware? Anyone?
Not me.
Oh, I know what that means. That's about like,
Yeah, I think I might have put that one.
is it about other people coming into the community and say, oh, we're going to help you, and then they're like gone
Right.
and done? Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to summarize it, but I might not have added enough to it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, the coaching has no pain points. I think that was one of the best things for the innovators in the program. Their relationships with their coaches and
Which is so funny because Marissa always talks about how like they had to like, some people didn't show up. Wee,
That's true.
sorry.
do.
Thank you. Uh,
Mm-mm.
I think that Eric, I think that maybe that can be part of the narrative too. Because I think in the curious about, the second column, where it talks about unsure of Sibley's motivation, uncertainty of commitment and staying power, in the narrative we can say communities are used to anchor institutions coming and going. We can
I agree about that.
So I don't think it needs to be in the journey. So I'm just going to put it up here. Yeah, like near yours. And I'll write a note that says these are for the narrative.
That could work. I put that there because that I felt like that fit into like the upset, because it's like, that you have these disparities and there's, but I guess that's true. Like if I think that works. Okay.
What the bright spot that we have up there, excited about bringing forward my ideas. I don't know that I would. Well, and maybe that can be a pain point. What you just mentioned, like saddened by disparities in my community. And then the bright
Okay.
spot would be
Just
wondering how I can make a difference. And then I would put this one over here.
just wanted to do a time check quickly. We should move on to the next things on our agenda. And I think that the journey is looking good. What do you think?
I think I'm feeling more confident about the journey. How are
Yeah,
you guys?
same.
I think
Like
it looks really good.
I think it's like much simpler,
Mhm.
but it's like very clear. And like I feel like the feelings are in there. We have enough meat. There's enough meat on the bones, but not too much.
Okay. What are you doing right now, Veronica?
Looking at the whole big thing.
Okay, so I think it's looking good. I just went through the pain points and added some more things. And I think that's what you're doing with the bright spots, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to fix some of the language so that it was more aligned.
Okay, I think we need to move on.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's looking good right now. And then as the content is written and things like that, like you can review the language then as well. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing on the agenda is to go through the outline that Mark shared with us yesterday once again, and to note down what information we'll be pulling for each of those sections. So Mark, do you think you can just put like a screenshot on the Miro board so then we can start typing next to it? I think that would be, yeah, okay. Or you know what, Mark, can you actually just like copy the text and paste it so we can even edit it if required?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, yeah.
Where are we doing it?
We're doing it on the Miro.
Okay.
I'm just making this board right next to the journey map. Called Storybook Outline. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Cool. So can everybody move to the storybook outline board, please?
Okay. Where is it?
On
To the
your
right of the
on your
story
right.
of the journey map.
Okay.
I really like this journey map. It looks good, everyone. Great job. Great teamwork.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a good flow today because we've talked about everything and analyzed it ad nauseum. It's like we're all, it's like the Christmas tree's up and we all have the decorations and somebody's doing lights and it's like it's in harmony. It's like a family that's all like working in the same room
Yeah.
to create this space.
Awesome.
It's amazing. Okay, so we have to do the same thing now with the storybook outline. So what I think we should do is dig a little deeper. So we have like the overarching like title. I think we need like smaller subtitles to understand what exactly will go in each of these sections, and then we'll understand from where we can pull.
Mhm.
So
So,
yeah.
well, I was thinking one thing that we could do to get there would be like to break up this list. So I was imagining like, you know, for example, research methodology or end-to-end experience. I don't know. I was imagining that we would have multiple boards and then we could just copy and paste the content that would go in there. Is that what you were imagining?
I think that would take a lot of time, and that would be a lot of, like, you would have to take things from a lot of different places.
Yeah, but then it's going to be so easy to put together. Then you have like a blueprint. I mean, that's fine. It's more work for you and for Mark. If you got, that's fine. We can do it your way. I'm just saying it's.
Well, I think we can do it pretty quickly if we, because I know in here we have the frame pages. We can maybe name each of the frame pages as the section, and then because I was just even looking at our key takeaways. Typically, that will be in the summary section. So that's like a huge thing that we can just plop right on the canvas, or we can just name it.
Yeah, yeah, or we could just name it. That's fine. Let's do the naming.
Yeah.
I feel like that's easier.
Well, and also let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
I just want to show you guys something that I'm going to be doing while we're talking. So I have this InDesign document, and it's all. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all kind of. So I can do some of that on my own. Like if we highlight, and I could take a screen capture of this section or whatever, and I'll plop it in this page or whatever. And that,
Right. Okay, good. So you can do that. That's good.
I'll probably be doing that as we move along. So
That sounds great.
okay.
Awesome. So actually, we can probably just talk through it, and then Mark can capture it and put it in a document, and then Mark, you can share the document with us, just kind of, so we can have that as a draft of the booking, and then Samia can have that as well as she's beginning to write.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, and we could make our notes in the storybook outline because it's going to take him a little bit longer. He's going to be behind us. So.
All right, teamwork makes the dream work.
But if you guys say, oh yeah, in the executive summary, we need to capture, you know, this visual here, or this group of, and then I'll just make you could say, Mark, just take a screen capture of that and then you highlight it in the outline. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the question is, do we have to work in sequential order, or should we just?
No, not at all.
Okay, great. Because I already know like the journey map is what's going to go in page 10 and 11, probably as a double truck.
Okay, so do you want to write that down? Maybe you can write with another color.
Okay.
Can we can't all be in this document.
No, we can't all be on this text box. So it's one person, I guess, who would be in charge of writing.
But we can create additional text boxes.
Yeah, we can. That's just going to be a lot to tally.
No, but like, so for example, in the executive summary, I can write what the executive summary needs to be.
Marty, did you say 10 and 11 for the journey map? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, or what we can do is we can do like a full page kind of visual section divider, and then we can have a summary on 11, and then do the double truck. That's the term we use in journalism. Or we can do the spread on 12 and 13.
I got you.
So then we can have, so page 10 will be the section, kind of full page section divider. 11 will be the accompany summary blurb, and then 12 and 13, they eat up by mosquitoes, can be the spread for the journey map, and then maybe there are some blurbs that accompany it to give it, you know, once it's built out with the text and stuff like that, or it can just be a standalone by itself.
Yep. Okay.
Introduction. You already took a stab at that, right? Samia, so we should just be responding to what you wrote for that, right? Oh, you're muted,
You're
I
on mute.
think.
Sorry. Okay. It looks like the introduction and the executive summary is different here, but basically I wrote about like Ward Infinity and like setting the scene about why they want to work within the Ward 7 and 8, what their vision is, and then like what are the methodologies we're using for this project. So the research methodology. So they were sort of across some of these things. So maybe if we have this and we have like an idea, if I get an idea of exactly what you imagine in each of these sections, you can always like copy paste things into different sections.
Yeah, because
So
I was thinking that the executive summary is typically a high level overview of the entire document. So if somebody doesn't want to read the whole document, they know what it is from beginning to end. And then which takes pieces from the intro, the methodology or whatever to kind of have like a succinct overview. But Veronica, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it is. That's why I wrote. So it's very high level about Word Infinity, what we did, what we learned, and what we're going to do with what we learned. So you should be able to, I always write the executive summary once I've completed everything else.
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, so then basically I wrote the introduction.
Yes.
Do I have that, or do you?
No,
do you
I have that, but
Okay.
I think that can be reviewed in everyone's own time as well. Like the main thing right now is to do this collaborative work. So
Yep.
if we have time left, we can all have a look together while we are on call, or we can do it separately.
Yeah. And so one of the things I think that's also should be in, well, I think the research methodology is basically summarizing the research plan, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we can use the research plan as that content for that. And I don't know if you want me to add that in there as a.
So I wrote the research methodology, but it also depends on how much. So, okay, I wrote about like 2 paragraphs about, and I pulled from the research plan. Yes.
So we have our questions, research questions of the team, who the interviewees, who they were.
No, not in that much detail. So we have like the questions, the overall methodology that we used. So qualitative, exploratory, human-centered, things like that, and then that we did interviews and then synthesis, stuff like that, but not like, okay, we did 10 interviews and like these are the people who did the interviews. Do you think that information needs to be
No,
there?
not the people, but what you could do here is you could do by like something that is like by the numbers. So you could do where it's like number of people you interviewed, how many are in number, you could do like how many are in topic areas, right? Like food access, housing, and then you could do, I don't know, you could get creative in this, something that gives them a sense of
Who the people are without
who the
having to say
people
who they
are. You could look in, Madia, there's a good example of how we did that in the women's veterans research. There's like a page where they use icons and it's like kind of a by the numbers. They're not all by the numbers, but it'll give you a sense of what that can look like.
I like that idea. How do you feel about that, Samia? Do you think that you have the information to pull that data?
Yes, I think so. So I didn't do the case studies because that was also something that I was hoping to do before this call, but I didn't get to that because I was just doing the introduction and the research. But I did look at like the post, was it the postcard?
Postcards from the field, yeah.
Yes, so that did have a little bit of information, but I think that was for 3 of the innovators we interviewed. It would be nice to have something similar, like a short, like 3-4 line write up about their project. for the rest of them, because we have 3, so there are 5 that are missing. And I can take it from the interviews, but not everyone really spoke about like exactly what their project was, because that question wasn't asked to everyone. So Veronica, do you have that information?
What information about what each program is?
No, so there are 8 innovators, and 3 of them, like I found information on their project from the postcards that you shared with us. But the rest of them, like I don't have like a write-up on their idea, their project.
So yeah, why don't you just fill in the ones that you have and then tell me which ones you're missing?
Yeah, that's
And then it may be like verbal. I don't know what we have.
okay.
Well, and we're gonna, if we're gonna, and I think we need to feature images, photos of them. We're gonna need photos of all the participants as well.
I'll add an action item list over here, so we'll document that. So we need photos.
And they're just simple like headshot photos.
Yeah, so Veronica, we need to circle back because I know we had a conversation around the Sibley photographer. Do you think we'll be able to leverage that for the
not
images?
the Sibley photographer, but I can. No, I mean I have a bunch of. I think I mentioned to you. I don't know if you're on the phone, Maria. I have some Google document folders that have all the pictures by Lara. That have all the pictures, a bunch of pictures from different events. So I can share those events so that we have some photographs to pull from. But then in terms of getting portraits, I can see if my partner has like a really fancy camera. So I can see if he'll let me borrow it and then we can take them.
And this is what I'm envisioning for this is a rough view. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So case study number 1, market 7, it's the photos, their names underneath it, and then a brief description of their project. And
I don't know if I like it on the first page, but in general, I do like them on. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put it on the first page, but.
What do you mean first page?
Executive summary. I would let the executive summary speak as a summary.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But in general, I like the case study off to the side or.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like real estate. It's going to be,
Yeah.
as you see this page here, it's going to take up about 1/3 of the page.
Can we make it take up less of the page?
Yeah, it could go a little smaller even.
And you can also try a sidebar where the page is on a 3 column, and then maybe putting it down the side so you have a well for the content to live.
Yeah.
And maybe the narrative, maybe it's like a 1 sentence, what they're like food, like maybe it's like their issue, food access, a 1 sentence description about what they do. And then it's potential community impact, right? Like, so maybe market 7, there are 150,000 people that live in ward 7 and 8 who have, like, so maybe we do something like that where it's more like fact-based as opposed to this whole paragraph to try to reduce the amount of room.
That's fine. Okay.
So Veronica, you said that you're going to share a folder.
Yeah, so there are 2 folders that I can
images
share.
from events.
Yes, in addition to the ones that I uploaded for you guys. Did you get those?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they're 2 Google Doc folders. I will share those. And then I think the other possibility is if I can like ask to borrow the camera, if you trust me with the camera, I can take some portraits when we're doing the taping.
All right. When will you know? Because we need to be able to account for that.
Like within the next couple days, like before the end of the week. I can ask today. Why?
The reason I was asking is because didn't you also say that as part of the program they take headshots? Do we have those headshots?
Well, I think they're the ones that are there.
Okay.
Like, I just don't love them because like other half of them are not like looking straight at the camera.
Mhm.
They're just not intimate, I don't find.
We could do something interesting with the cropping, if as a plan.
As a plan
Z.
B,
Yeah.
let me ask Marissa if she has, let me email. She's going on vacation.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get her Marissa headshot, cohort headshots. Some of them might have headshots like Tombra. I know she does. Okay, I just sent her an email. Tombra always has the cutest pictures. One thing that girl does not skimp on is photography. One thing that we haven't, so where would we put our mind map?
So, good question.
Maybe that would be under, well,
Are we thinking that the mind map would take up 2 pages?
yeah, I think we would have it. It would, yeah, because we could have it on, well, you mean the image, the visual, or the
Yeah.
explanation?
Well, the visual, but like it could be across the spread and then have a column for the explanation. So, but
Yeah,
the question is, do we
love
want
that.
it to be over 2 spreads?
I love that.
You could have it like right after the journey map before we get into it. Because then when we get into it, the information will be from both of them, right?
Yeah.
So then you have like overview of journey map, overview of the mind map. So you have like one view of it, of both of them. And then when you go to the next pages, you have like detailed sections pulling information from both.
So that would mean Mark will probably have to find 2 pages from somewhere else. And I'm thinking that pages between 32 to 35, where we have look into the future and the conclusion, call to action. I don't necessarily know that the call to action is going to need to take up 2 full pages. So what if we condense the look in the future and call to action into those 2 pages, and then take those 2 pages and add it to the back of the research numbers, the end-to-end program.
I think
Yeah.
looking to the future will take 2 pages.
Yeah, I do too. Because it's like, it's like what's the
All the
subplot.
opportunities.
Do you think the call to action is going to take 2 pages though?
What about the before? The before, I don't think is going to take. Do you think we're going to need? Can we take 2 of the before pages?
Yeah, I think we will need, I don't think like when we go into the journey, we need 10 pages for that.
Yeah.
Evening.
Yeah. I mean, I think all these sections are they're a little bloated at the moment. I think things are going to, and I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I have a feeling that, things are going to shrink a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe,
think
go ahead.
sorry, no, I was just saying that maybe like between 20 to 30 is where I see like shrinkage for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. And also the end to end 14 to 19.
Yeah.
is a lot because you'd have one where the whole journey is, right?
That's
Then
over
you
2
have
pages.
a key. You might be able to, I would maybe, because you would have the whole journey and then like 2 pages that describe how to read it.
I do like to have some uniformity with, like, if we're going to do these sections before, during, and after, it's nice to have some uniformity. So it's like, okay, there's 2 spreads, 2 spreads, 2 spreads.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
no,
why I do so.
but the during and after are more substantial than the before. Very
That's
little
true.
happens in before. So we
That's-
don't,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so I think you could pull from the before and you might be able to pull from the end-to-end experience.
Yeah, and let's just keep it fluid for now, because we can't really anticipate what's gonna fall away and what's gonna expand.
Right. But so I think Madia is just trying to figure out where that's going to go. So, I mean, I think Madia, the bottom line is we're all saying we think that we're going to have enough pages.
Okay,
We
without
just
having to
gotta-
shift it.
Yeah. We just
Yeah.
have to figure out where we want the mind map to go, I think is more the question.
So it probably
Right.
should go right after the journey map then, right?
I think so. And
Yeah.
does it take up a full spread, or can it be done on one page?
No, I think it'll take up because you're going to need to have the well, I liked what you proposed, Madia, where you have the image and then like a sidebar, because you need to explain what it is and what it's saying.
And I also think for the case studies, I really don't think we're going to be able to get 8 case studies in here.
Okay, well, maybe we get from a real estate, maybe we get 4.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there. As I was plotting this out, it seems real heavy to have 8.
8 does feel heavy.
They're happening all the time. And I just, from a pacing standpoint, I think it's nice to have them sprinkled, but not like every other spread.
Right.
So.
Right. And Madia, maybe for the case studies, if we're using photos for those, that's where we could do something interesting with their photos, but not for places where we'd have photos throughout.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna send you.
And so I just want to make sure in the introduction, I think, because we're also going to, hold up, trying to figure out where do we put the key takeaways, because we actually have that we actually have a nice, it's not really super nice, but I liked how we kind of clustered the information. Like, what are the 5 things that stood out from the insights to your key takeaways?
Right. So that, to me, that would go after the introduction.
So right before you get into the research methodology.
No, sorry.
No,
after the research methodology.
Okay.
Even the research methodology is like 4 pages. I don't think you need 4 pages for that.
Right.
Yeah, I would make that 2 pages. It's too much. People don't care that badly. I mean,
And then
they're
maybe,
happy.
yeah, and then you can probably put the key takeaways in those other 2 pages. Because I feel like that's what people really want to know. Like, what did we gain from the insight?
Madia, when you talk about 5 key takeaways, is there a slide for that? Is there a visual for that?
Yeah, there's the key takeaways we did under the from the how might we insights template.
I got you. I see it now. I just want to capture it with a screen.
Yeah.
With screen capture. So.
Veronica, are you in the big text box of the outline? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was. Sorry, my bad. So
I'm just going to change this for my reference.
I think we need to start adding in those. Oh, you are? Okay, good. Yeah, that's perfect.
Just the headings.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So I guess my question is, I think we did a lot around that, kind of like the data synthesis. Do we typically show any of that in these types of reports? Or is it more just kind of like, what's the final takeaway from everything?
Well, we need to do opportunities. And so looking to the future, that's where we're going to do, here, I'll add that.
Yeah.
We're going to do the opportunities.
And so I
So-
guess you can use the insight template for that, because that's where we have the opportunities listed.
Is conclusion, the call to action, is that where we'd want to put our priorities? 2x2 matrix.
Yeah, I like that. So Mark, she's saying
Yeah.
on page 34 that 2x2, I think it's in our other board. I think it's in workshop 1. Is it workshop 1 or is it on
No,
the floor?
it's in opportunities, defining opportunities 1 and 2.
Okay.
So if you all click on like Miro, the logo, can you see all the boards that you worked on? So there are 3 boards.
Yeah.
You can, right? So that's how you access it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that.
Oh, I see it now.
Are you on workshop 1 or 2?
Defining opportunities, workshop 1 and 2.
What are we on today?
We're on data analysis workshop 2.
All right. Fine. I went to 1 and 2. I went to 1, then I went to 1 and 2. Stranded. Okay. Cool.
So where is that? Where is
Yeah.
that? What's the 2x2 thing?
Impact versus feasibility.
Oh, I got you.
And then there's also this that you did, prioritizing the problem. Do we feel a need for that?
That's probably, yeah, those are the opportunities. Well, those are the,
I think those are I think the key takeaways would have to be pulled from that and the key takeaways section, because
Okay.
that, like, the problems are also like the things that stood out the most in terms of things we need to improve. So I would say like key takeaways would pull from those 2 places.
yeah, I agree.
I have a question, page 14 to 19. So you have 14, 15 to be like the spread, the journey map, right?
Yeah.
And then 16, 17, the mind map on both, like across.
Oh, wait. No, you're going to need at least, you're going to need 4 for the journey map. You're going to need another page to describe the journey map.
Yeah, that
Okay.
needs to shift.
Okay, so it's going to be here.
Right.
And then this is,
Also, how are we keeping track of like dividers between the pages?
that's what I was saying, that the first, so 14 is the section divider, and then 15 becomes the summary, and then the 16 and 17 becomes the spread with the journey map with description, and then 17 and 18 becomes the spread for the mind map.
So I think we should put that in here. We should show where the major dividers are going to go.
Yep, I agree.
So,
And I think that's why the sections right now feel a little bit long, but they're gonna include those section dividers too. So
I'm going to call this innovator's journey. So we have the divider, then the spread, and then this is the narrative. And this is the journey map. This is the journey map. And this is the innovator's journey. Okay, no, this would go innovator's journey narrative. And then are you waiting for me to move out of here?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
No.
So there we go. That's how it should go. So title page, executives, table of contents,
Divider. So the divider page is like a blank page, right? With like
an image.
title or an image or whatever.
Yeah. So then is page 8 a divider? And like, how are we? Or no, maybe not.
I'm gonna have to redo the flow a little bit just to make sure that these dividers are in here.
Yeah, well, and also you're gonna have to like, so that we have like a rhythm to how they are.
Yep.
Like you'll have to just.
What do you imagine on page 15? What do you mean by that?
That's the summary, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the summary. So that's like high level introduction. Oh, well, just kidding. We need to have one. Okay, so we need to have the key, and we need to have a narrative. How to read the journey map.
And mind map, because that will be summary will be for the whole section, or would it just be for the journey map?
No, I think we just do it for the journey map. So then the mind map. So we'll have the image. We need a different word for the mind map, but so we'd have the mind map. So this would be the image. And then we would need mind map, key, and narrative.
So, but the mind map is just one page. So mind map image, is it not a spread?
Yeah, maybe it's a spread. Image, key, and narrative. I don't know. That might not be enough space.
So this whole like high level introduction of what it is, blah, 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 that is the narrative, right?
Yeah, and how to read it and what it is telling us. I mean, I think the flow is going to depend on, so much of this is going to be Eric's intuition on what should go on what page and how it flows. So it may be the narrative comes first and the explanation, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's.
So typically, so if we have a section divider, we usually have like a quick high level summary of the entire section. So if we're going to have both the journey map and the journey and the mind map in the same section with one divider, we should have like a one quick small paragraph that kind of says, over the next few pages, we're going to illustrate, the customer journey, the innovator's journey, along with, some of the resources that they had access to, that didn't have access to, or whatever. And then there's like an actual narrative for the actual journey map. And then there's an actual narrative for the mind map. The narrative itself doesn't necessarily have to be that long for the intro. So it's like there's an intro and then there's like a narrative. And I think that the section with a divider needs to have an intro so people know what they're going to be reading over the next couple of pages.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But then there needs to be more of an explanation closer to the mind map.
Exactly.
But I think that sounds good.
So you have the intro, you mean like what it is, and then the narrative, you mean what it's trying to say.
So the intro is summarizing all the content that you'll find in this section. So
it's basically like, in this section, we will blah, 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 discuss A, Y, Z, or present image B and C to depict ABD, period. It's like just a few sentences. It's like telling the reader what you're going to tell them about.
Yeah, okay. And that's with the divider.
Yeah. So usually we'll have like and if you, even if you look at the veterans example that Veronica shared, they had the big section front with the face and a title, and then they had like a small blurb that summarized the section. And then when you turn the page, when they had the journey map, they had like a more detailed narrative breaking down what you're looking at as it relates to the journey map.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's good to be clear on what you mean by narrative and what yeah. Okay.
This is really helpful. This is, this takes it to another level, and then I'll be able to take the layout, and the breakdown to another level from where I have it currently too.
Cool.
And you're gonna, after looking at this, Mark, you're gonna probably have to rearrange some of these pages.
Yeah, that's totally fluid. I mean, this was just this was just to get us going.
That was good.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
excited.
Yeah.
So are there any other, so obviously we're going to be using pieces of the journey map and the mind map throughout as visuals. Aside from the by the numbers and aside from the 2x2 matrix, are there any other visuals that we can think of in terms of illustrating the story? And the photos, obviously. But
Well, you may need to, like, when you have the key, there might need you, because you're gonna have to have a key on the journey map itself, but you might need to have that in the area we're explaining how to read the map.
and we do have that in,
Okay.
so the narrative, right?
Yeah.
How to read the map.
Yeah. So you just, it'll just be a duplication. But so in terms of other actual images,
Or visuals or graphics or.
I mean, I have and I sent this to Samya. Like, I have certain, like, these are just, I'd use certain icons to describe our program, but I don't think those are anything groundbreaking.
I'm quite certain.
Wait, you didn't send this to me.
Yes, I did.
You sent me.
I sent you 3 different emails. This should have been one of them. Yeah, look, there should be 3 with like.
So.
Can you resend that and then also send it to the TomaWare's email address? Because then that would automatically put the files in the file management and she can get access to it.
It's in the website draft.
Yeah. I started, anyway, that's a whole nother. You guys, I haven't had a chance to look at the asset library. I can't stay beyond 4 o'clock today because I'm like in meetings until 9 p.m. today.
Oh no.
I know, it's a very long day. So I will resend those so that they go in the TomaWares as well.
I think we did a great job today. I think we fleshed some things out. Samya.
One small question. Page 34 says conclusion, call to action. What does the narrative next to it mean?
Speaking directly to prospective innovators, investors, founders, community members, and advisory boards to help make a positive change in the community. Is that what you're referring to?
I guess. What does that have to do with narrative? So
well, every new chapter has a narrative to say, like, now that we've learned about all of these insights and pain points, there's opportunities to improve the program. And then you go from there. That's all it means. When it has a narrative, it's just like a introductory paragraph for that section.
So I'm going to write introductory paragraph because I don't understand.
Okay. Do you guys need anything else? I need to go. I'm sorry.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Was this supposed to go till 4 or? Yeah. So
4, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So so the next time we'll talk will be, tomorrow I'll be working on the video. Next week is going to be super busy. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and you guys saw I sent that email to Kathleen about the.
Yeah, she got back to us.
Oh, she did?
And yeah, she said that that they may have some difficulty getting Whole Foods next Tuesday. So we asked her for alternative options for shooting, because unfortunately we don't have the flexibility to move the shoot date back. Um, so Juliana and Sandovi are on it. They have been really good at managing the logistics. So we should be sending out shoot schedules either later today or tomorrow for everybody. But they've been in contact with everybody already for scheduling.
Oh, okay, good.
And Veronica, did you get my PDF for the art direction I sent you this morning?
Wait, yeah, I did get that.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So
Wait. Okay.
we just need to kind of get some clarity on the direction, and if you have any,
I mean, I think the direction is kind of the same as what we talked about yesterday, which is like the combination. What I heard from the group was like the liking different aspects of them. So like the infinite possibilities with the idea that we're all together on this journey. I don't know. Is that what you guys heard yesterday? I don't feel like my feedback has changed since what we talked about.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And then I think you had also mentioned maybe doing some handwritten elements in that too. If it's going to get too many different styles, then we could always remove that. But I think you had mentioned that as well.
Yep.
So the takeaway from that we should refine the art direction to make sure that we're all in alignment with what's the visuals on there as the main inspiration.
Yeah, or we are just gonna kind of distill it down to one direction and get Veronica's approval on that so we can move forward.
Okay. All right, great. So if you can send me that art direction so we can get that, would be great. And so the only final thing, I know you have to run. You gonna say something else, Mark?
No, go ahead.
Samia has already written some content for the book. We wanted to get your reaction to it so that she can begin fleshing out some of the other ones. So I'll be on the lookout. I'll send that copy to you today. If you can look at it and provide edits or feedback so she can have that direction while she fleshes out the rest of it.
So I just want to add one thing that I'm working on. I don't know if this is how you imagine, but I'm working on Google Docs just because it's easy to share and I can see like changes and comments and everything is real time.
That's fine. So, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So then it just becomes like the shared document. So you keep building and I don't have to share like multiple copies and it's going to get lost in my computer.
Yeah,
okay, good.
That sounds fine. Maria, I think we need to, I just read Juliana's email to Kathleen. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to have a little bit more sensitivity towards Whole Food. Like I understand Mary is one person. Whole Foods is an entire machine that we're asking them to kind of pause so that we can do this. So what I would suggest that if Juliana can go back to Mary and say, or talk to Kathleen on the phone and say, to figure out what we can, do you know what I mean? Because I feel like the response to Kathleen is just too hard of a no. And it's like Kathleen has to like get a lot of people in line so that we can do that shoot. Whereas like Mary's one person.
Yeah, I don't know if it came across clearly in that, but she offered to hop on a call to discuss alternative options for the shoot. The only thing that is pressing right now is that shifting the date back, especially knowing that Eric's coming from Philly to do the shoot. So that's one of the things that we're trying to accommodate for, and understanding your own deadline in terms of needing the video. So I'm going to have her call her to see what kind of alternatives we can have for, and even if we can't get Mary on when we can shoot her, figure out how we can get a response to see what she can do for her shoot.
Okay, because I just think we need to be flexible with Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm. No, understandable. I'll get on the call with her now.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
cool. Okay, just keep me posted and I'll look out for that document, Sonia, whenever you have it ready. Okay, guys, good work.
Yeah, great work, everyone.
Great
I'm
work.
excited.
Me too. I
This
can't
was
wait
the
to see
last
it.
of our workshops.
Oh, it's so sad.
But we got a lot done. We got everything done.
We
I'm excited.
magically, yeah, Samia, thank you and Marie for keeping us on focus. You guys did a great job, and I know it was tough and long, but we did it.
Yeah, it was
So,
great.
It was.
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Me
good.
too.
And that's why we all wear black today, because we knew it
Yeah.
was our last.
We knew.
Yeah.
Now we just need like a.
Put it to the end.
I know. We need like either each our own cake, like little mini cupcake, or like cocktail in hand.
All right, awesome.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Looking forward to finishing things up with you, and hope you have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right, you
Okay.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.